basement of Big Ten headquarters. It's the Basement Benchwarmers podcast.
Basement Benchwarmers back for another week. Yeah, we're live from the basement of the Big Ten headquarters. We're the reason they wanted to come back and play. We are the reason. We'll talk about it a little later. The Big Ten will be back, though. First off, like we start the show usually, is whatever we did this past week. And Eric and Willie are here. Willie is back, and Ed is off, so Glenn is sitting in again for Ed. But to start, usually we kind of go around and see whatever happened for the past week. But this past Friday, pretty historic day in our country's history happened. 9/11. Obviously, doesn't need anything else said about it. It's 9/11. I kind of want to go around the guys and see where they were, what they were doing that day. And I'm going to start with Glenn. He actually served our country. Thank you, Glenn. Yep. And
thanks,
we'll start with Glenn.
Yeah, on that day I was actually at the Johnson Wax facility on Highway 20. That's where I was working at the time. It was kind of weird. I was listening to Mancow Muller, if you guys remember him. He was kind of talking about these planes hitting the buildings, and, Mancow, you don't know if he's bullshitting or not. So I get to Johnson Wax, and they're all huddled around this TV in the middle of their entry area, reception area. So I went up and did the work I had to do, and flew home, got on the phone with my guard unit at the time. It was the 128th Air Wing in Milwaukee. We weren't called up yet, but it was like the following week was just sitting on pins and needles, waiting for the call to go do whatever we had to do.
Yeah, thanks again for serving, Glenn. Appreciate that. I lived in Tucson, Arizona at the time, and I remember getting in my car and started driving to work, and I listened to the Howard Stern show back then, and he's talking about planes, crashing into the buildings, and I'm like, this is not even funny, Howard. It's because normally he's joking about stuff. I'm like, it's not even funny, and so then I had to go over to another affiliate to find out that it was all real, and just devastated. I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, so I was in the travel business, and we had kind of because people couldn't fly, so a lot of people are trying to rent one-way cars and stuff. It was crazy. Trying to accommodate people that needed to get from point A to point B, because all of a sudden they shut down airports and everything else like that. So just a crazy moment. And living there too, there's some bases and stuff. So I know they were potential targets, Fort Huachuca and Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. So obviously it was a little scary. I'm sure it was scary for everybody. So
yeah, I think about that. I was actually flying that day. The company I worked for, I needed to go to Tannersville, Pennsylvania. So I had two choices. I could either fly through Detroit, a connecting flight to Pennsylvania, or I could fly directly to, or go to, Jersey. I can't remember the airport there, but it's an armpit, as I recall. And I was smart, and I chose flying through Detroit. And it was
I'm not making light of this, but what is Detroit then if New Jersey's an armpit? Well, I like to make light, but just I'm messing with you.
It's the other armpit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's multiple armpits.
There's a lot of armpits nowadays. Go ahead, Willie. I'm sorry. I totally apologize.
Whatever. You threw me off my train of thought. What was I talking about again?
Yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah. So it was an early morning flight. I got into Detroit, and people are like, we're standing there waiting for our next flight. And then all of a sudden, there's stuff popping up on, the TV there. So they were talking about the first plane hitting the tower. When I heard that, I'm like, probably some little Cessna hit it. Somebody didn't know what they're doing. Honest to God, we're sitting there, so they show the video of the first one. And as we're watching that video, I saw the second plane hit there. And I think it was Matt Lauer at the time. He's like, oh, hold on, run that back. Did we just see a second plane hit? Sure enough, they saw the second plane hit, so we're all sitting there. The airport got locked down. Thank God I was in Detroit. My parents live in Michigan. I said, Dad, you're going to have to come pick me up, because I couldn't get a rental car. I couldn't get anything at the time. I ended up taking a train back to Wisconsin here 3 or 4 days later. So
yeah, I worked for a family business for over 20 years now, actually 25, and I was at work, and actually where we worked, we had two shops at a time, and where I worked was the old Wonder Bread building across from the old Middle Branch Saloon, which is tore down now. I used to work right across the street, and we didn't listen to radio. We listened to CDs and stuff. So all of a sudden I get a call from our other shop, and I'm told that, there's planes hitting buildings. I'm like, what? Yeah, 2 planes have hit the Twin Towers, and so I actually left to go to the other shop because I wanted to see what was going on, and we didn't have the greatest computers at our shop, so I went over there to check it out to see, wow, come on, what is it? And I actually thought the same thing as you thought, just some idiot screwed up and hit a building. And obviously it wasn't that. It was a lot more than that, as we've come to find out in the days coming through. And obviously the people that died in the field in Pennsylvania were part of that. Also, something did hit the Pentagon also. So there was a lot of things going on that day, and it was a crazy day. And we do script things on the show. I think people know that, but a lot of times I throw stuff out of the guys, and this is something I want to ask you guys about. What is your feeling about the NFL not saying a word about 9/11 on Thursday night or this weekend?
Yeah, personally, it kind of goes with the national anthem thing. Having served, I know what the flag means to me. So I really don't care what everybody does anymore because it's just so blown, overblown, and I think a lot of it is just for attention. So I look to the NFL for entertainment. I don't look for it for a political or a patriotic beacon of light or anything. So at this point, I'm just kind of over what the NFL does, and I just look for the play, from the start of the game to the end of the game. I don't care what they do before or after anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I'm disappointed that it didn't do anything for 9/11, which they have in years past. What they did in the days, weeks, months after 9/11 at football games and baseball games, I thought that was very inspirational. Yeah.
And I should take that back. I didn't see everything today. So maybe New York did something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know the national televised game on Thursday night didn't say a word about it, so I'm going with the national televised games that you are out there for you to, that can be the show you can do for people. Willie, do you have any?
Well, you talk about Thursday night. I'm just, Al Michaels. They probably had to put a muzzle on the guy not to say anything about it. Think about it, because this guy's.
I will disagree with. I understand the stance, but I totally disagree with it. I think it's wrong. I think it is still part of our history. And black, brown, purple, green, white people all died that day. This was not racially motivated. This was nothing to do with equality or nothing. This was people being killed by terrorists. And the scary thing is that I've seen this written, and it is the worst thing to say, but man, do we miss 9/12.
Yeah, because we came together.
9/12, we were a country that
unity,
we would walk down the street, we'd beat up anybody. If we had to go, we would have gone and fought. And people that didn't like war want us to go blow that country up. Everybody was crazy about it.
Yeah.
So it brought us together. Not that war and stuff should bring people together, but we all had the same goal in mind at that time. Like, this is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, but on the flip side, not to play devil's advocate, but if you were of Middle Eastern descent in America, 9/12 was not a good time for you because everybody hated on you and harassed you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easy for us to see how good it was, but I also think about how bad it was for them. And I didn't start thinking about that until just recently. I don't know.
Here's another point to think about this. Think about what a hero Rudy Giuliani was then. For what he did there. It was 19 years ago, right?
Well, now he's a villain.
Yeah, right. Now he's a villain.
We forget that 9/11 in 2012 was also the attack on that Benghazi compound, American compound, where we lost the diplomat and those other CIA or whatever organization they were with.
Yep. Yeah. So it's been 9/11's been not a good day in our history of our country. It's been sometimes showing a lax in what we do and how we do things, but. So let's move on. Let's move on to something happier. The Bucks. Not happier. I should have said that.
Can you get me another beer or a shot?
So the NBA playoffs are moving on. Right now, Denver is tied with LA, the Clippers, to move on to the Western Conference Finals. They're 3-3, one more game to see who gets to face the Lakers, and the Heat will face the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Bucks were dismantled, I'd say, by the Heat, by a team with, I would just say, more of a team concept beat them. That's what happened. I mean, and now reports are out. Giannis met with the team, and then he deleted a bunch of teammates from his Instagram account. The only teammate he has left is his brother. Don't know what that means. I think Jace will say something about that in the Sports Minute. But we don't know what that means. Who knows what it means? Maybe he wants to just decompress and go away from everybody for a while. Doesn't seem like a big Instagram. I think he just got Instagram in this year anyway. It wasn't like he was a big social media guy anyway. So I I just think it's crazy. I mean, we'll see. He's still with the Bucks next year unless they move him. He's still a Buck next year for the season, so we'll see.
I don't really trust what they're saying in the media. Maybe for some reason he unfollowed his teammates, like you said, to decompress. He's done that before, where he got off Twitter for a while, then went right back on. I think he's still learning how to really be a superstar, really, in all aspects of being a superstar. I take him at his word. What he first said is, he goes, "That ain't going to happen." When they said, "Are you going to force a trade?" No, that's not happening. He said, there was some scenario about a lot of guys go around the wall, I go right through it, basically saying I'm staying the course. The Bucks, I'm almost 100% positive that the Bucks are going to offer him that max contract, which if he doesn't take that, he's leaving like $50 million on the table. So I guess my glass is half full with Giannis staying and the Bucks continuing to build a potential championship team. So I'm staying positive. I'm disappointed that they lost, but I'm positive. So,
well, the one thing we discussed this, I think, today earlier, the kind of other scenario with that money you're talking, the $50 million, if the Bucks don't sign and trade him, they get nothing, but also Giannis loses $50 million. But the pitcher, I guess, could be in his mind, well, fine, I'll play this out, I'll make my money this year, then I'll go play for somebody for, whatever the number is. I don't know what it would be, $35 million a year for a 1-year deal, play for $30 million. And then the next year, that team can sign me to the max contract. So he really wouldn't lose nothing. He'd probably actually make more out of it because the contract would be higher the next year. Now, you're risking injury.
As long as he plays well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I still believe Giannis is still trending upwards. The Bucks, like I said a few weeks ago, they're trending downward. But Giannis is still trending upward.
Yeah.
There's there's holes in his game. We talked about last week, I think Michael Roach was on with us, and he talked about, and we brought it up, the 15-foot jumper is a hole in his game. It really is.
That's exactly.
It's a hole, and it's not that it's not there, it's just not consistent and it's not. Teams don't go, oh my God, he's a hit that we got to go at him and he can go by him. They just sit that free throw line and go, okay, do what you got to do. You're not going by us,
And the guy, so the way that the whole defense that the Heat had worked is they build a wall, and then his option then is either I force it and he's gonna get charge calls and he's gonna turn the ball over, or he's got to push it out to the 3-point shooters, and they just weren't there. They did not step up. I think this
second year in a row.
If any kind of rebuild's going to happen, get rid of some of this old stuff. I mean, Marvin Williams already retired. I think Korver's going to retire. But look what the Heat had. They had young guys that could shoot threes, young guys with just excited about being there. I felt like Korver didn't even really want to be there, and George Hill. Obviously that's a whole other discussion, I guess, but. We need to bring some youth to that team. It seemed like we had these core guys, and then we brought in a bunch of veterans that, they could shoot threes, and they just didn't step up in the bubble. No one ever they just couldn't get the engine started in the bubble. Just not at all.
Well, the only thing Budenholzer did is when the Heat built the wall, he made them pay for it.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. That's the good thing.
Hey, what was the Bucks' record in the bubble?
That's insane.
What was their record in the bubble?
Like 2 games over 500. Were they 6-4?
So before the playoffs, they won. They won
6-2, 5-3.
I don't think they won. No, they lost.
4-4, somewhere in there.
There was 8 games, right?
Yeah, 8
I
total.
thought they were like 3-5.
They might have been.
The bubble wasn't kind to them at all.
Yeah, and they never really got the offense going, and they never really got anything going.
And even against Orlando, the game they lost, obviously they looked terrible. But even a couple games they won against Orlando, they didn't look good.
Yeah.
They were just a better team. They won because they were just better.
You have to. We're disappointed. You have to give the Miami Heat a lot of credit.
Oh, yeah.
And Eric Spoelstra is, I think, an underrated coach. I mean, he's a guy that goes back to being a film guy, and so of course he's going to watch as much film as he possibly can. To how do we stop Giannis? How do you shut down Bledsoe? Well, he shoots a lot, and you shouldn't. I mean, things like that. It's they did a better job coaching, playing, everything. I mean,
well, we'll see. We got an off-season talk about it.
Spoken like a true Cubs fan here. Next year,
it'll always be next year. Speaking of the Cubs, today, Alec, is it Alec or Alex? I can't.
Good question.
Alec Mills. Mills.
We're going to say Mills.
Mills threw a no hitter for the Cubs. The second in in the last couple of years with Arrieta was 2016. He threw one.
Alec.
And the trivia question of the day is: name the 2 players only to ever throw no hitters at Miller Park. Number 1 is Mills. Number 2 is.
Go ahead, Willie.
Zambrano.
Yeah, so the Cubs own Miller Park for no hitters. There is no other no hitters ever thrown there yet, so it's just 2 Cubs. So.
And when Zambrano did it, we were there as the home team, right? Because it was a
I believe it might have been a makeup.
They were
It was a
playing the
makeup.
Astros, I believe.
it was a rain game or something or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
It was a
something
weird game,
Yeah, early in the year, snow or something. They're trying to get
Because
games
of
in.
Katrina.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah,
It was because
okay.
of Katrina, yes.
Well, we couldn't play at Wrigley.
Yep.
No, because Astros want to play a home. They would. It was
Oh, they had to be a
It was the
neutral.
Astros home
Okay.
game. Yeah, yeah.
I thought maybe that's when the concrete was falling from the at Wrigley onto the fans.
That too.
Yeah.
So tonight on tonight's show, we're gonna have the beer tent, a little Where Are They Now with Willie. Snake draft tonight will be Glenn's snake draft. Glenn sitting here again. Favorite football themed movies. We did movies before. I know sports. We're gonna go into football since it's football season. Also, the fan poll question this week was: who was your number 1 pick in your fantasy league? We're going to talk about this week's games through Sunday, and we will also go to our picks of the week, and we'll have some other topics, and we'll go from there. So our first thing we're going to do here, I got a couple things I'm going to bring up to you guys real quick, a couple topics I want to hit on. The first thing was, did you hear that your buddy, I guess we're talking about NBA for more second, your buddy Lou Williams, he trademarked the name Lemon Pepper Lou.
Ooh.
He trademarked it.
Did he really?
Yeah.
So he's actually going, heck, I'm gonna make the most of this. I got in trouble, but I'm gonna make the most of this.
Wow.
Because I broke the rules, and I want to keep talking about breaking the rules. So
I guarantee you that strip club he goes to is going to change the name of those things, as otherwise they have to pay him every time they sell it, right?
yep.
Yeah. So does Magic? It is Magic City, right? Magic City is
Yeah,
the name.
it was Magic City. Yeah, Magic City Strip Club, and
Do they get a piece of that?
no,
pun
because
intended.
they were called Lou Will Lemon Pepper Barbecue.
Okay.
He just trademarked the name because people started calling him Lemon Pepper Lou because what he did.
Oh, I see.
So he's had shirts and stuff, everything coming out, and everything you can buy.
Pepper Lou.
Lemon Pepper Lou.
Wow.
I will say you did turn me on to the lemon pepper wings at Wingstop, and they are
Were they good?
delicious.
Good.
Yes.
I gotta try 'em.
I'm glad. Another thing too, I heard today. I can't remember the player's name. You guys will know when I bring it up. Who was the guy that got caught the COVID tester in his room?
Oh, I heard that. I don't know that. I don't know the
He
name.
got sent home to House.
House, yeah.
Yep, got sent home from the bubble. Played for the Rockets.
Rockets, yeah.
But yeah, he got sent home. I'm guessing they were fooling around.
Yeah, that's my take on it. I
Yeah.
mean, she's a tester, but she, you know,
She
She wanted to
test-
swab him some more.
She's like, and he's like, well, let's do it rectally. That was weird. And that's when they had to close the door.
he's like, this is my house.
Hello.
Also, the MLB has announced their bubble plans for the playoffs. The NLDS, we played at Globe Life Field in Arlington, the brand new stadium in Texas. The ALDS, we play at Petco. Then you'll be at the NLCS for Global. The NLCS will be at Global Life again. ALCS will be at Petco. And then the World Series, we played in Arlington at Globe Life, the brand new stadium down there. That's how I'm going to set it up.
Yeah.
It'll be bubbles. They can let them leave, which is
Warmer places.
it's a good idea. I mean, I think baseball eventually is going to go to this idea of the NFL. They're going to start playing like this, and they're going to just play the series in one place to make sure the weather. Because I think it's crazy. And I know Cleveland, the Cubs did a couple years ago, and the weather was okay. It actually wasn't too bad that year.
great.
They got lucky.
Yeah, they got
But
lucky.
if it would have been snowing and crappy in those games, it would have been terrible for baseball. So I really believe it would suck for fans like us from up here that want to go see our team. But even like Miller Park could host it. I mean, that's fine. They can close the roof.
close the
That'd be
roof,
cool for
yeah.
Milwaukee, get a little money in and all that. I think eventually they should go to that and maybe go to these warm climates or play in all indoor
least- at
stadiums
least
that
for the
have a
World
chance.
Series,
Yeah,
because-
well, not the
once you get
LDS.
there,
No,
you
no.
get- yeah.
But just the World Series.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe, but I don't know if it'll happen because baseball's so.
Well, they're
much-
so traditionalist. I mean,
Yes. Yeah. So
So they're going to the bubble concept just for the
just
playoffs?
for the playoffs.
Is
Yeah.
it because it's right around flu season and now you're throwing in COVID on top of
Yeah,
that?
they haven't said, but that might be most of the thinking. Just and plus, maybe when they get to that, they don't want to postpone games. They don't want no outbreaks or
if you
anything.
have if you have a problem with the weather, then it's
yeah,
less,
and the
it's
weather
less
screws-
likely.
Yeah, then they're done.
Yeah.
But how late it's going to be.
Then their dates will be perfect.
Because they're going to get into late October, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
so. I
yeah.
believe so. Yep. Almost. It'll be Mr. November, like
Mr.
Derek Jeter was that one year.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mr. November.
Well, that was because of 9/11 that was delayed.
Yes, it
That's
was.
why they got into November.
I
yeah.
believe you're correct.
Yeah.
Nice tie-in.
Yes, perfect. So let's go to our snake draft tonight, And we'll just do it in order, like always. Glenn can start. We'll go with Eric, Willie, and myself. We're going to do our snake draft tonight. It's going to be famous, or I'm sorry, not famous. Well, they are famous. Our favorite football-themed movies. So obviously, football has to be part of the movie. And I'm going to start the clip from each guy, and then they can kind of talk about it. So here's Glenn's first choice.
You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Well, that clip was about as long as Eric's rant about Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, I say something about the 6 inches there at the end.
In front of your face, what you're used to.
Wow! Hey, zing!
This movie, Oliver Stone's tribute to the gladiators of the gridiron. You got Al Pacino, obviously, you recognize his voice. Dennis Quaid, Cameron Diaz, Jamie Foxx, LL Cool J was in this movie, and then just a ton of cameos from NFL players like Jim Brown, Lawrence Taylor, T.O., Ricky Running Waters. I like this movie because it kind of showed at the time that transition where we were going from the traditional quarterback to the Michael Vick style era of quarterbacks, which we see now with like Patrick Mahomes and Cam Newton. Plus, it's the Miami Sharks, which is a great play on the Miami Dolphins as a Dolphins fan.
Listening to this speech made me want to run through a wall.
Yeah,
really did. And all these are going to be a little longer because you have to get the feeling of these speeches in these movies. And they're actually great monologues in these movies. And the next one is another great monologue from another great movie. This is Eric's choice.
Anybody know what this place is? This is Gettysburg. This is where they fought the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 men died right here on this field, fighting the same fight that we're still fighting amongst ourselves today. This green field right here, painted red, bubbling with the blood of young boys. Smoke and hot lead pouring right through their bodies. Listen to their souls, man. I killed my brother with malice in my heart. Hatred destroyed my family. You listen. You take a lesson from the dead. If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground, we too will be destroyed. Just like they were. I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll learn to play this game like men.
Boy, that scene just gives me chills. I mean, that in that movie, if you haven't seen it, is Remember the Titans. from one great actor to another to Denzel Washington there. That movie, the setting is Virginia in the early 70s with a lot of segregated schools, and obviously the football programs were segregated, so they integrated two programs, two different schools, and they a controversial hire is Denzel Washington, Coach Boone. They bring him in, and they actually go to camp, and they're near Gettysburg. That scene just gives me chills, and especially after being in Gettysburg a couple years ago and just being there, it's surreal. But it's an incredible movie. Obviously, there's a lot of racial injustice at that time, like you've never seen, and these two teams kind of, they're fighting at first, and the two key characters to me are Julius and Gary Bertier. They're two linebackers, and they're kind of like what this movie's all about, and two different races coming together, and this team coming together as one with unity and becoming a winning football program. It's just an incredible movie. And we even get a cameo from Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. Sunshine! Great movie.
So next up, Willie's going to lighten the mood for a second.
Yes, I am.
I thought Sunshine did it.
And this is Willie's pick.
They had audio back in Willie's days?
Yeah. I thought I was going to pick Horse Feathers, but it's not Horse Feathers.
I almost did.
Just to be. I had to take someone's pick away, sorry. Willie's honorable mention. So here, this is Willie's choice.
I am a role model, Jerry. I have a family to support. Hear me? I want to stay in Arizona. I want my new contract. But I like you. Yes, I like you, Jerry. My wife likes you. You're good to my wife. I will stay with you.
That's great. I'm very happy.
Are you listening?
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do for you. God bless you, Jerry. But this is what you're going to do for me. You listen, Jerry?
Yeah, what can I do for you, Rod? You just tell me, what can I do for you?
It's a very personal, very important thing. Hell, it's a family matter. Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
I want to make sure you're ready, brother. Here it is. Show me the money.
Spot for a Glock. I took a loss over floss, but still got a knock.
Money! Jerry, does that make you feel good just to say that? Say it with me one time, Jerry.
Show you the money.
Oh, no, you can do better than that, Jerry. I want you to say it with meaning, brother. Hey, I got Bob Sugar on the other line. I better hear you say it.
Yeah, no. Show you the money.
Not show you. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Yeah. Louder.
Show me the money.
That's it, brother, but you got to yell that shit.
Show me the money.
I need to feel you, Jerry.
Show me the money.
Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money. Show me the money. You love this black man. I love black people. I love black people. Who's your motherfucker, Jerry? You my motherfucker. What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the money. Congratulations, you're still my agent.
So we know who that was. That's Jerry Maguire and Rod Tidwell. And funny thing, Cuba Gooding Jr., what other football movie was he in?
Radio.
Yes.
You're taking movies away from us now.
You can still pick it there, but think about the people. You had Cuba Gooding Jr., you had Renee Zellweger, and rest in peace, Kelly Preston.
Yes.
And then Jerry O'Connell as what the heck was it? Oh, Frank Cushman.
Yep.
Kushlash.
Yep. Jay Moore, and then what was it? Jonathan Lipnicki.
Yes, he was the brainiac.
Yeah. What was one of the questions he asked in that movie? I'm trying to think.
Something about the size of your human head or something.
The human head weighs 8 pounds.
There you go. Yes, that's right. So great movie. Happy to lighten the mood a little bit there, but hey, two great movies.
I'm going to go back to the other side. Actually, when I laid this down, I got a tear in my eye. This is a great speech for a movie.
For those of you who may not know, this is the final resting place for 6 members of the 1970 Thundering Herd. The plane crash that took their lives was so severe, so absolute, that their bodies were unable to be identified. So they were buried here, together. 6 players, 6 teammates, 6 sons of Marshall. This is our past, gentlemen. This is where we have been. This is how we got here. This is who we are today. I want to talk about our opponent this afternoon. They're bigger, faster, stronger, more experienced. And on paper, they're just better. And they know it, too. But I want to tell you something that they don't know. They don't know your heart. I do. I've seen it. You have shown it to me. You have shown this coaching staff, your teammates. You have shown yourselves just exactly who you are in here. When you take that field today, you've got to lay that heart on the line, man. From the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows. And if you do that, we cannot lose. We may be behind on the scoreboard at the end of the game, but if you play like that, we cannot be defeated. And we came here today to remember 6 young men and 69 others who will not be on the field with you today, but they will be watching. You can bet your ass that they'll be gritting their teeth with every snap of that football. You understand me? How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered. This is your opportunity to rise from these ashes and grab glory. We are. Marshall! We are. Marshall! We are. Marshall! The funeral's in today.
So that's Matthew McConaughey playing Jack Lingill, I think it's something. I cut it off and I was trying to look it up just now. So, but it was a great movie. I looked after I saw the movie, kind of looked the guy up, and yeah, Matthew McConaughey played the guy to a T. I mean, everything he did in the movie with the hand gestures and everything were what the guy did. And the guy who took that job after that happened, it had to be the hardest job in the world. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of jobs that are harder, but that situation has to be the hard thing to get into. It really does. I don't want anybody to get upset with me because I said their job wasn't as hard or something. So I gotta be smart. But just taking that situation, people dying. There was a lot of kickback from players and families not wanting it to happen. So We Are Marshall. It's one of my favorite sports movies, but also all these movies that were named so far, great sports movies. My second movie was going to be my first one, but I wanted to go with, I like This Speech was good, but I'm going to go with Brian's Song. The story of Brian Piccolo and Gale Sayers. Real close friendship they had, and Brian Piccolo actually passed away of cancer, and Gale Sayers was pretty much there the whole step of the way while he passed away. So my second pick in the snake draft is Brian's Song. So Willie, did I steal your pick?
You did, because you know what? I think I remember watching that show, and probably one of the first movies I teared up at. Honest to God, and probably one of the first movies that you dealt with cancer. Seriously,
you understood it.
It's back in 1970.
Being that young, you're like, wow, that's I see what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah, so I remember that all too well. I remember sitting there watching the movie, and you're sitting there trying to be a tough kid, not shedding a tear. My brother's looking at me, he goes, I think you're crying, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I think I am. I'm crying, man. So
hey, nothing wrong with that. Good cry's good once in a while. Come on.
Absolutely.
Yep, nothing wrong with it.
I'm going with Varsity Blues.
Yeah, nice. I like whipped cream, too.
Yes, we all. What was her name?
Allie. Her real name's Allie Lauder. Lauder? Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember whipped cream. I remember. I'm a big fan of whipped cream. I don't want your life.
That's right.
And Billy Bob, and have you ever seen the movie? We talk about this all the time at work. You ever see the movie, a non-nerd teen movie? And Billy Bob played the same character in that movie, but his name in that movie was Reggie Ray. So it's comical. So Eric, who is your second pick?
Well, I guess if we're talking kind of some of the sadder stories, I'll take the movie, and I don't know if a lot of people know this one, the movie The Express. It's the story of Ernie Davis. So Ernie Davis actually followed the great Jim Brown at Syracuse as a running back, but Ernie Davis, his claim for fame is he was the first African American to win the Heisman Trophy, won it at Syracuse, and then was a top draft pick. So in 1961 he won the Heisman, but in 1962 he was diagnosed with leukemia, and so his NFL career never really got going. But a great movie, I think, an underrated movie. One of those tear jerkers, kind of like we just talked about.
I'm going to pull a Scott, just like he uses bowlers as athletes. I'm going to use Ballers from the HBO show. It's not really a movie, but it's a great football.
No, it's a sports show. It's football. A lot of football's involved in it. Actually, it's all about football.
It's all football, but it's not necessarily a movie. It was a series. That's why I was so.
We'll give it to you.
Kind of falls in
I'll give it to you.
bowlers category of athletes.
It's kind of like taking an extra pick. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, it's a great show too. Too bad it ended. I was ashamed it ended.
I never watched. I heard good things about it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, chance. It's a great show.
good.
Yeah. So Eric, you did too.
So since you let me get away with that, Netflix has a series called Last Chance U, college football. Very good series.
Yep.
Shows kind of the inside of the junior college, the JUCO circuit. And there was two seasons that I can't remember the guy's name, but then he ended up on HBO's Hard Knocks with the Raiders, and he got cut like 2 weeks later because his shitty work ethics carried over from JUCO to the Raiders.
So, real quick, Glenn's not listening. Do you think he's just doing his own thing now because he thinks it's named after him?
That's right.
Shows
That's
now.
right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Glenn's right there. My bad.
That's right. My headphones were off for a minute. What's going on?
Did you tell Glenn that next week we're doing best NFL TV shows?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. All right.
I'll just pick movies then.
I think he'll be ready. I don't know. So I'll take. I guess I'll go with the inspirational. It's kind of a cheesy movie, but the movie Rudy, the little engine that could. The guy that Rudy. Good flick. Good story. Obviously, true story.
Do you know Joe Montana was like the Grinch of that movie and told people that a lot of that's not true? What happened? He really ruined it for people.
Yeah,
like, that didn't really happen. Joe, relax, man.
Let's
all believe this kid that's like my size.
Yeah, was able to get
got
on
a
the field.
sack at Notre Dame
and it's
Georgia Tech. Yeah, it's a good team at that time.
Had a greater work ethic than anybody else out there. He was just small, and he got out there eventually.
Yes, he did.
Little engine that could.
All the guys in hand their jerseys in. That was another thing he ruined for me. I'm like, really? That's like the coolest part of the movie.
That is the coolest part.
When they all hand their stuff, and if Rudy don't get to play.
Yeah.
So, Willie, you're off.
The Last Boy Scout.
Oh, yeah,
I got that one on my list.
It's on his list.
Yeah.
What's the best scene of that movie? On the football field, the running back with the gun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hey, might happen.
I think he got a touchdown.
Bruce Willis.
You go ahead.
Bruce Willis was awesome in that movie, and was it Damon
Wayans?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you guys realize that Bruce Willis plays the same character in all the movies? He had some kind of injury.
Yeah.
He was always hurt, and he was going to save the day, just like Die Hard, just like all the Die Hards got something wrong with him, and he's
Although Pulp Fiction. That's the one he kind of stepped out of. He got out of his lane for once.
Yeah,
that's right.
But yeah, you're right. It all started with moonlighting.
So that's Last Boy Scout? Okay.
Yeah, Last Boy
So
Scout.
my third pick is going to be the movie Friday Night Lights with the coach. In the movie was Billy Bob Thornton. Great movie. Actually became a great TV show. Take Gunn's TV show from him. So yeah, it was a great TV show, but a great movie all around. Just a good sports football movie, high school based, about high school football in Texas, which is insane. Then my last pick, I'm kind of torn. The Blind Side. A great movie about a family that adopts a kid from the inner city and ends up helping him out, and he becomes a Michael Oher Michael Oher. He played for the Ravens and won a Super Bowl, I think, with him actually too. But it was a great movie, and Sandra Bullock played the character of the mom really well in that movie. Yeah. So good movie, but I'm going to take The Blind Side as my final pick.
I think she won an Oscar.
Yeah, a football movie with not much football action.
No, but hey, it's football. Willie.
I'm going with the Water Boy. You can do it.
There's a lot of good comedies that I think we haven't touched on yet, but I think I'm gonna take a pretty obscure comedy. This movie was just crazy, and if we would have played a clip from it, I know which one I would have picked, but we probably couldn't really play it on the podcast. But Wildcats.
The song was awesome.
Yes, there was so many good songs. So we had, obviously, Goldie Hawn takes over as a female coach in this. It was a raunchy group of dudes. You had Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, and just, it was just a nasty group of guys. But they all kind of came together at the end and supported Goldie and won some football games. But there's some funny scenes and some funny dialogue in that movie. It's pretty insane.
Well, I was going to pick that one too, because that era was all about like a white person going into a black environment and fixing it for him.
Yeah, and Woody was one principal because Woody was one of the only white guys on the team, right? Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. Yes, I believe he was. Yeah,
but you always had that white punk in the school too. In the black school,
he was like the Eminem of the team.
Right.
Oh, wow.
You Rabbit.
He was good at rhyming.
Since most of mine were taken, I'm gonna go with The Longest Yard, the remake though, because I like Adam Sandler.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Yeah.
Both good, but I do like the remake a lot. It's a good movie. Honorable mentions, I'll just throw one I just watched the other night. I was watching Invincible.
Is that the Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg played the Philadelphia Eagle. He was the actual special teamer, and I had his name, but I can't read this because it's so small. Oh, Vince Papali.
Didn't he like just destroy some of the records in the? I can't even think what the hell.
I think Wahlberg destroyed records in that movie about the porn industry, didn't he?
Oh.
What was that one with Burt Reynolds?
Dirk Diggler.
Yeah, Dirk Diggler. He destroyed records in that movie.
And then Horse Feathers for Willie. We named that earlier. For Willie. Another one that people don't really remember, but Heaven Can Wait.
I remember that. Rams quarterback.
Anybody else have an honorable mention you want to throw out there?
How about The Replacements with Falco?
Great movie.
Yeah, Keanu.
Yep, good movie.
John Wick, as I call him.
Little Giants.
Little Giants.
Yep.
Well, Tom Cruise's other football movie, All the Right Moves.
All the Right Moves, good movie. What was the movie? What was the football movie about? It was about the college football team.
Boy, that narrows it down.
Necessary Roughness?
No, and it was the same movie. I can't remember. The quarterback goes to the huddle and says, "Time to put the women and children to bed. It's time to look for dinner." He used to always say that. He was like a drunk, but he was like I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
And that was actually a real good movie.
I know what you're talking about.
And I get confused. It wasn't the same movie. I'm getting confused with movies now. I'm putting two in my head because what's his name was in it too? Real famous actor. Omar Epps was running back in that movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
I guess I didn't write that. I know when I looked at some lists. In a movie we didn't mention that, and you mentioned it the other day, Draft Day.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that's one of the top football movies
I'm
ever.
a big fan of it. I want to tell people, tell me it's not true because I'm just going to believe it's true how it goes. The Program is the movie I'm thinking of. Program. Yep, great movie. All our movies on here. Unnecessary Roughness we just said. How about this is kind of a weird one too I saw and I actually seen it before. Monday Night Mayhem. It's about Monday Night Football, and it was actually a movie with John Turturro was in it. He played Howard Cosell.
Oh, really?
It was actually a pretty good movie. It's kind of different.
It's a stretch there.
Yep.
John Turturro.
Yeah, John Turturro, yeah.
How about The Paper Lion? George Plimpton.
Oh, yeah, Paper Lion, yeah. That's a good one.
Alan Alda played it, so.
The Leatherheads.
Leatherheads, yeah. That was with George Clooney and...
Isn't, what's his name?
John Krasinski, whatever, from Office.
Krasinski.
Yeah, that guy, yep.
That was close, though.
Yeah.
Jack Ryan.
So we're talking about football. We're going to move into more football here with today's games. Did you guys hear about the rookie from the Titans who was arrested for a DUI?
Good start, Rook.
Yeah, Isaiah Wilson was a first-round pick also. It looks like he may miss some games. They're working through the details on how to proceed, but it's pretty simple. Let's just suspend and move on, okay? Let's quit pampering the athletes. Let's make them like all the rest of us now.
I got one comment on that. He's dumb.
Yeah.
Sitting in Ed's chair, I feel like I have to go on a tirade about this.
Yeah. Let's not. Start the shower stall.
Another little tidbit, Stevie Lee, the little person that was on Jackass, passed away this week at 54. I'll show a picture of the guys. They were all sad, but he used to beat the crap out of this poor fella, man. So,
yeah, him and Wee Man.
Yeah, so moment of silence for Stevie Lee.
Lou Brock.
Okay.
Just a short one, though.
Lou Brock passed away. We talked about that last week.
Last week, okay,
yes,
sorry, that's right.
That's okay, Willie. Yep. You're behind a week, usually, anyway.
Usually. Where am I at?
Let's just move into Jace's Sports Minute.
This is the Basement Benchwarmers Sports Minute. Football is back. We've all waited the long months for it, but it is now back. And reports have come out that Tom Brady had talked with multiple teams before signing with the Buccaneers over the offseason, which included the Saints, the Bears, and that's all I can think of. Or my guy behind Culver's gave me. Patrick Peterson and the Cardinals are most likely not going to have any trade negotiations after the season. He will play out his contract, and we'll see where it goes from there. Clemson defended their title as they started the season off with a big win against Wake Forest. Giannis Antetokounmpo has met with the owners of the Bucks, and he had unfollowed all of his teammates on Instagram. And Rajon Rondo's brother was ejected as he got into an incident with Russell Westbrook. This has been the Basement Benchwarmers Sports Minute.
So yeah, there's nothing I had. Rajon Rondo's brother got kicked out of the bubble for talking smack to Russell Westbrook on the court. I guess it's not all about unity when they start playing. I guess it's not. I guess it's, we'll do what you want, I guess.
So you're telling me the Bears could have had Mahomes and Brady now?
Yeah, I guess. Wow. I guess that's the rumor.
And let's go with Mitch.
Yeah. So yeah, the rumor was if Breeze retired, they were going to make a move for Brady. The Saints were, or if he was forced into retirement. Won't go any further than that. But yeah, that was a choice, and the Bears, I guess, had interest in him. But I think they just went the way they went because of I don't know, maybe that was Brady's choice also to go to Tampa. So I'm sure his wife said Tampa or Chicago. She probably said, let's go to Tampa. That was probably the weather had a big thing in it.
Yeah.
And New Orleans. At least it's not too bad down there, besides hurricanes. The ones that wash the city away. So let's talk a little about the games that happened today. We'll maybe hit a few and then move to different things back and forth. But I'll kind of run down some scores, and we can talk about each game here. I'll name a few players in each game. So last Thursday night, the Chiefs started out their title defense very convincing. It looks like Houston might have took a step back. I think DeAndre Hopkins. I think David Johnson's a great addition, but I think they're going to miss that spread the field type guy or stretch the field. 34-20 winner. And Edwards-Helaire, I was told it was pronounced without an H, so I'm going to go with it. He had a huge game as a rookie, 138 and a touchdown. A lot of guys picked him in the first round of fantasy, and he is paying off for the first week. And then also big games from Watkins. Tyreek Hill scored, and Mahomes had his normal 3 touchdowns and 200 and some yards. Deshaun Watson came on at the end, but he looked kind of lost at times to start the game, I believe. And backs David Johnson, like I said, looked really good. David Johnson looked like David Johnson old. Did they keep him going like that? I think that'll help him as the year goes on. They are in a weaker division, obviously, with the Colts, Jacksonville, and Titans. Titans will be the better team of those. But as you saw today, we'll talk about later, Jacksonville did upset the Colts, so kind of who knows what's going on with that division then. So any comments on that, KC Texan? Anything you guys saw watching or anything you read about the game? Anything?
It's just hard to get Houston's offense going when their defense is on the field so much.
Yeah.
So it's week 1, no preseason. It's hard to say if somebody's clicking or not yet.
Yeah, and they were in a tough spot too because you're playing the Chiefs, and it actually wasn't start the game. It was kind of back and forth. It wasn't, and then just the Chiefs just got going, and the Chiefs look like a team that's been in an offense for a couple of years where it was like Watson because they have a new coordinator in Houston too, so get your feet wet kind of. So
well, the biggest thing about that game was Andy Reid's face shield.
Oh my gosh, it was fogged up from the greatest moment of that game.
He was steaming dumplings.
After the anthem, he took his mask off, and the shield actually had his hat attached to it.
Yes,
and he put the hat and the shield down, and it instantly was this little spot was fogged up, and it stayed that way the rest of the game. It was awesome.
Like a mouth breather.
So as I brought up, the Jaguars did have an upset today. In this past week, they upset the Colts 27-20. Phillip Rivers' debut not as great as they thought. Marlon Mack out with an Achilles injury, they believe, so that's going to upgrade the depth chart, get John Taylor more play, which he was a big rookie drafted, and also Nyheim Hines,
something like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
he had a nice game, a lot of catches. Gardner Minshew though was the story of the game to me. 19 of 20, low number 173 with 3 touchdowns, without Leonard Fournette and without a receiver you could not name right now.
Right.
It's the stash. It's the stash.
That's pretty impressive. Now I know, as Glenn said, week 1, maybe the Phillip Rivers not being in games with these guys and learning, because I believe that's a big thing right now with it. Anything about that game?
Is that game manager numbers right there?
Well, the 3 touchdowns aren't, but the 173 is. I mean, 19 for 20, man. That's just dump offs and outs. But hey, if you go in and score touchdowns, that's what it's about, right? I mean,
right.
Absolutely, I'm fine with that. So.
Well, the stash gets you 102 right away, right?
Well, there was a thing going on. If you would draft Gardner Minshew in the first round and you would win your league, you get Bud Light for a year. So
Yeah,
I was tempted to
he
do
did that, right? Isn't that from him?
I thought about taking it in our league because I said, well, if I draft him, I might as well. And people laugh, but I get a free year of Bud Light and I win. That'd be awesome. And actually, I took Mahomes in our league, and his numbers were almost comparable to Mahomes. Once again, that's
why you don't.
That's why I don't take quarterback. I broke my own rule in our draft, and look what
You're
it did.
trying to prove a point. Though.
Yeah, I kind of was. Yeah, I kind of was.
Gotcha.
So,
But yeah, back when Jonathan Taylor came in and made immediate impact. He looks good. Wisconsin guy.
Yeah.
That catch for a touchdown right away, and I think he ran pretty well.
So a couple of, another game here today. We had the Ravens just
pummeled them.
Yeah, dominating the Browns. Once again, the Browns looked like they didn't belong. I don't know what's going on with the Browns. I honestly want to say this, being a Bear fan, I had Mitch Trubisky and Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield is just a law. I think he's Johnny Manziel in sheep's clothing. That's the correct. Seriously, I don't think I like Baker. I thought Baker Mayfield would be good, but he's just not going. He's just not changing the plateau. At least with Trubisky, he has games like today where we can cheer for him for a week. He did some. Now next week it'll probably be terrible, but Baker Mayfield has never really. I don't know if you guys agree, but Lamar Jackson, 275, 3 touchdowns, and 7 carries, 45 yards. And the rumor that I heard from the game, a lot of the reporters I saw right after, they said that he looked better throwing the ball than he did last year, and he won the MVP last year. So he was finding Marquise Brown regularly. Marquise Hollywood Brown had 100 yards receiving today. And the kind of thing I noticed off the bat for fantasy regards, I don't know if this scares Nick Chubb owners, but Nick Chubb got a lot of time on the bench, and it was with Kareem Hunt taking away carries today. So I don't know how that. I think Nick Chubb's a good back, but I stayed away from Nick Chubb just because of Kareem Hunt. That was the reason I stayed away from him. Eric,
well, I have a Chubb.
It's from being 6 inches in front of your face.
I have Chubb in a couple leagues. One was a keeper league, so I had to keep him because it was like I had him for nothing.
Well,
you
got to keep Chubb.
Yeah, I tried to as much as I can, but. It's controversial, but anyway, it's and you were right, Scott, because you kept telling me I think Hunt's going to get, and then Hunt got the big contract. I'm like, well, they got some faith in him, so now they got to really give him the rock.
Well, the way I look at it is that if you look at Kareem Hunt pre-beating women,
kicking and screaming,
after kicking women, he still is actually still the same. He's still
stud, yeah.
He was that year in KC. He was that same year as McCaffrey came out. And he was better than McCaffrey as a rookie. Yeah. I thought his numbers were better. McCaffrey, don't get me wrong, is a good running back. Don't write letters in the show and say, but I'm saying Hunt was more dynamic in the game. And it's a shame that the NFL just when something like this happens, they wag your finger at one team and then someone else can have them. So that's the crazy thing. I just don't think Kareem Hunt should be in the NFL. If we're talking the whole new world about protecting people and all that.
He should be in jail, maybe.
He should not be in NFL. He should not be allowed to do a job. That's a privilege.
He should be wearing a bracelet.
Making millions of dollars. Yeah. When 2 men in that video were trying to hold him back on top of it. That was the worst part of the video. They're trying to stop, like two buddies. Like it was like if me and Willie were trying to stop Eric and he still did it. That's insane. Eric would be like, okay, I'll cool off. Whatever. Not that Eric would hit a woman, but... Well, maybe. I don't know. He's always got Chubb, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say to wrap this up, is that I'm not giving up on my Chubb yet.
And you know what? I think Glenn said it right. Fantasy and football, right? Normal, the actual games.
Yeah.
It's week 1, so don't nobody go off and jump off cliffs, because, of course, I had a bad week in a few fantasy leagues, and I'm not about to start cutting guys and revamping my team. So... Another game here, the Seahawks went into Atlanta and pretty much dominated them, 38-25. Russell Wilson, 322, 4 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. DK Metcalf scored. We had Carson having 2 touchdowns in that game for fantasy implications, but Ryan picked it up with some garbage at the end, 450, 2 touchdowns. You had Julio Jones with a pretty big day. Calvin Ridley, though, 2 touchdowns, 150. I believe he was 3rd ranked in fantasy today behind Devontae Adams. And I can't remember who number 1 was, but I have to think about it. But they were in the top 3, obviously. And then, so anything about the Seahawks, Falcons? What's your take on that? I mean, the Seahawks just love or hate Pete Carroll, man. They every year they just win games. I mean, he's the kind. He's almost that anti. People don't like him, and I'm also kind of guy that leans on offensive, but they just. It's almost like they're almost like the Aldi version of New England Patriots. Yeah. They really are. Yes, they're a team that they don't get to the AFC Championship or an NFC Champ, but they're always a team that's going to be like, we don't play Seattle, man. Doesn't matter who we're playing. They're going to be ready to play. Yep. And Russell Wilson is a gamer. I mean, he is.
And Seattle was, playing in Atlanta.
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they always say the West Coast teams go to the East Coast. What do you guys think about no fans in here? Do you think it's playing different with the games?
I
here?
think it's going to benefit, and I'm going to get to that with our next game.
Okay.
I think it's going to benefit the better teams because the better teams are teams that even the passing teams that want to pass the ball a lot. It's going to benefit them. Yeah. You don't have crowd noise. You don't have anything like today. Obviously, it didn't show in New Orleans because Tampa Bay didn't do much, but it will. Like I'll say in this game right here, although the Packers were impressive today, 43-34 over the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers, 364, 4 touchdowns. Devontae Adams had a huge game, 150 in receptions and 2 touchdowns, I believe, in that game. And Aaron Jones had 60 yards and a touchdown. I think Lazard had a touchdown in the game also.
Mm-hmm. So did MVS.
Yep, MVS. So
a couple drops, though.
We had, and once again, the Vikings are kind of in the middle, not a rebuild, but they're trying to revamp their defense, and I think that kind of falls in the no preseason where you can see things against different things. And I'm not taking anything from the Packers; they play well. And like I said, 9-7, man. Let's just 9-7, 3 teams. Now, I don't know about the Vikings right now because that was pretty rough. I thought the Detroit game. I thought what I saw from Detroit was, but then again, the Bears are different than the Packers. But the Bears' defense is still. I thought they played decent today. I don't know about the Packers. I didn't really watch the game, but once again, I mean, played well.
So that Packers game is a good example where the crowd noise not being there helped out. There was at least 2 or 3 plays where the hard count got Minnesota to jump off sides.
Yeah.
And normally in Minnesota, I think the Packers are going to that silent count because it's so loud in there, and you got that horn blowing all the time. And
yeah, he definitely benefited from the no crowd noise and his cadence. That's his big thing, and getting the defense to jump and just he had no. I think he was pretty calm today. That's I didn't see him stressing, pressing at all. He seemed like he was happy to be out there, and I think because things were going well.
Yeah, and quarterbacks in general, they're going to hear the calls being played, or the plays being called. They're not going to have to put their hand over the ear hole to hear the plays.
Keep looking at him going, hey, repeat it. What?
Yeah, the next question I was going to ask you guys, and this is kind of I guess we keep talking about this a lot in this. Let's just say the Packers, obviously, we know them good because we're in the area. We know the Bears, Cubs, things like that, Brewers. So let's say the Packers have same thing happens as this year as last year. They go 12-4. Get to the playoffs, lose the first round. Question I have for you: do they think about firing the GM?
All right. I mean,
well, and here's why I'm going to say this.
But wait, what do you? So you're saying the same thing? So last year they went to the NFC Championship.
Okay, so they do the same thing. They go there, and the same thing happens.
They lose the NFC Championship again.
They just look terrible in the game,
and they fire their GM.
Yes,
I don't.
Do you understand the reason why?
Because they're not getting to the Super Bowl?
No, because they're not drafting what they should have drafted. Once again,
sure.
I mean, you have a quarterback now that for sure is going to see the field this year. Unless, and he was inactive today. And now they're talking about Aaron Jones getting re-upped. And your first 2 picks were on a quarterback and a running back when you need defense, linebackers. And it did kind of show today at the end. I did watch a little bit. It did show kind of at the end. And obviously it's garbage time. They're playing more prevent, but they were getting a lot. Minnesota was still moving the ball when they had. I mean, the Minnesota still put up 34 points.
Well, like I was telling
they're
Glenn,
missing Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. Like I was telling Glenn, it seemed like in the late third, in the fourth quarter, Packers would score. I'd get up and go to the bathroom, and I'd come back, and the Vikings scored a touchdown already. It's like, what happened? And, of course, I'm relying on my 8-year-old to tell me what happened. He's like, I don't know. Cook, this guy, that guy. I don't know. It's in the end zone. Can you give me an orange juice?
So and once again, I'm just asking because that's kind of. I mean, they probably won't because it's early, but and who knows?
Yeah,
it's one game. Yeah. Things could change all over, and like we've talked about already. The other game on here, we'll go a couple more and move on to something else. Come back to games. Buffalo and the Jets. Josh Allen seems to be progressing. In week 1, he seems to be moving in the right direction, like everybody thinks he will. 312, 2 touchdowns, 57 yards on 14 carries and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs had a good day in his new home. John Brown. Zach Moss got the goal lines like we talked about. And also Devin Singletary. The running game wasn't huge, but I think when your quarterback runs 57 yards, that helps a ton. That's part of the running game, so it counts. The Jets they weren't terrible, but Darnold didn't play great today. They lost Le'Veon Bell midway through the game with a hamstring.
Go figure.
So, I mean, once again, these are 2 teams, I think are going opposite directions. We're talking about whatever, I think obviously Buffalo Bills are pointing up. The Jets are still, I don't know, they just looked like the Jets. I mean, it was competitive, though. They were in the game. They weren't ever, out of it, but So 27-17. Anything you guys saw from that game you want to bring up?
I think the only thing there is the Bills are a playoff team and the Jets are not.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I mean, the Bills are a good team.
Yeah.
The Jets are kind of a lousy organization right now, I think.
And
have to put them in that.
And the thing about the Bills, which is very underrated of them, and for the last 5 years they've been this. They've always been a very good defensive team.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But they just can't. They got that. They've had the. And it's not even the quarterback. Just had bad offenses there. They didn't have really anything dynamic happening there. So their defense grew, but when you get to that fourth quarter, you just kind of go straight downhill, and it becomes tough for those. The more plays you add up on defense in time.
You talk about getting players for your quarterback. Look at Buffalo right there, Stephon Diggs. I mean, that's what they needed there. And it's.
And I'm still baffled why the Vikings traded him. I don't know if it's something to do with maybe his attitude, because I know he did have that problem with Kirk Cousins, and Adam Thielen kind of chewed him to Kirk Cousins too before. So, I mean, they both did it. So, which that's Kirk Cousins' fault. I told him to go sit down. I'm the quarterback, and I'm going to throw to who I want to throw to. Right. But that's their problem. Kirk Cousins trying to take that. Yeah, I don't know, because Stephon Diggs is a difference maker. He's not obviously big body build like AJ Green or Julio Jones, but he has that same speed and he can stretch the defense. You can stretch that defense, you run the ball, but everything's better if you can stretch the defense. Yeah. So, on the last game, before we move on to a couple things, we'll come back to them. The Patriots. Cam Newton's debut against the Dolphins, 21-11. That was my upset pick of the week. Didn't work out. Cam Newton, not a great day passing, kind of low, 15 for 19, 155, but he did have 2 rushing touchdowns and 75 yards rushing. The Dolphins, Jordan Howard scored a lone touchdown for the Dolphins. I really believe Tua was going to be seeing the field sooner than you think. Fitzpatrick today threw 2 interceptions.
3.
Oh, 3. I'm sorry, I missed one.
A garbage one at the end.
Okay, but still 3. So 2 legit picks. We'll give him 2 legits. And the bottom line is that I think if you think Tua is even close to being ready, I think it's Tua time. I really do. Yeah. You signed him. He's healthy. He's ready to go. Let's play him. Let's see what happens, because that could be the difference between winning and losing games. Obviously, if he can be like a Kyler Murray type guy. Patriots up there will play good defense again, and the Patriots. So I mean, the Patriots for now they're still the Patriots. So what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I was hoping Fitzpatrick could at least go 2-2 or 3-1 for the first 4 weeks while we get Tua ready, but he looked terrible. And we're kind of saying that, discrediting New England's defense. It's still New England's defense, which is pretty solid. Yeah, but there was some. I watched the highlights, and it was some really bad throws.
So, let's do. Let's just get up to all the games. Let's do the last 3. We got 3 left here. I couldn't find them, but I found them. So the Philadelphia Eagles versus Washington. I'm not going to call them football team. I'm not going to call them ever again because Washington. They're Washington versus the Eagles today. The Redskins actually that surprised me. That's one of the surprising scores of the day to me was Washington. They do have a good young defense. They have the youngest defensive line in football rotation. The 7 guys they have, and Kerrigan is one of them. He's 31, but he's probably one of the best on the line. And Kerrigan had 2 sacks today, 2 quarterback hurries, a recovery, 2 tackles for a loss. You had the kid from Haskins from OSU which I'm not a big fan, but I can start being a fan. And Carson Wentz is becoming the guy that he just threw a couple picks in today and just looked. Yeah. He's looking more and more like a guy that's average. I mean, that's why this quarterback thing cracks me up. There's not many quarterbacks in this league that can do what some quarterbacks do. He had that great first year. But remember, they didn't win the Super Bowl with him.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. He got him to that point. I mean, they had a great year, but when push came to shove, he didn't even touch the playoff because he couldn't. He was hurt. That's nothing. That happens. So the Washington and the Eagles today, so 27-17, and they were down 17-0 at one point in this game. So, and another little tidbit for fantasy, Gibson was the running back, but today the back that got 2 touchdowns kind of sharked him, and I cannot remember. I'll look it up.
Barber.
Barber, yep. Peyton Barber. The cast-off from the the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, yeah.
2 touchdowns today, so I don't know. Might be something to look at, a little fantasy pickup on the waiver wire this week. Take a look. He may be out there, so that's the guy you want to look at. Peyton Barber, 2 touchdowns.
Better look for him.
Yep. What do you guys think about Washington and the Eagles? Anything you want to bring up there?
It's not a very exciting game, but, I mean, the thing you're talking about with Wentz, and Michael Roach talked about it last week on the show about when he was talking about Watson having composure. and being like just a steady, like he was talking about Watson being a well composed guy even in the big moments. I don't think Wentz is. I just think he's kind of, I don't know. I mean, for him to throw picks at the end of the game like that when they had a 17-0 lead, he just kind of fell apart is what I see. I didn't watch the game, but that's the feel I got, and that's the feel I always get on Wentz.
Yeah, and that kind of falls on a defense too. I mean,
they gave up some points.
27 unanswered. That's kind of, but you put your defensive positions too, I guess. And if they're playing all the second half without you out there, and Miles Sanders didn't play there. Boston Scott, Miles Sanders did not play. Boston Scott came in for him. Didn't have a huge game, so they couldn't establish a run probably. So maybe, I guess besides I do like Wentz, and maybe just not being able to run the ball is a big factor in the games.
Now you and I we picked the Eagles right in the playoffs. Yeah, because you had Dallas out.
Yeah, I had Dallas making it.
Yeah, and I had Dallas as I had Philly.
Because I had three teams in the West going. No, I had Dallas and Philly. Because I had 3 teams in the West, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Go back and check those notes.
Yeah, whatever. We'll have to check. So the next game I got here is the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions.
Yikes!
The Bears were down 23-6 to start the fourth quarter, and we figured out Mitch Trubisky is the best closer in Chicago. He should be playing baseball because the first 3 quarters he looked like he had no idea. I mean, he looked like a second coming of Moses Moreno for the Bears, and he came out and had a good fourth quarter. I mean, his numbers they were great. I mean, they were good numbers. He played good. I obviously watched the game, and he had a good game. The defense played good today, but Robert Quinn wasn't hurt, didn't play. Now there's stuff coming out that he's a odd dude. He has his own little practice thing he did. The team allowed him to do it. And where is due diligence when you sign these guys, man? Don't sign a guy. I mean, hopefully he shows up. And he was hurt this week. He didn't just skip the game. But, I mean, that's the guy who's supposed to come and rush the passer. And that fourth quarter, when they were down, when they were up, and DeAndre Swift dropped the ball in the end zone. So Detroit probably should have won the game. But in that drive, if they have Robert Quinn to rush the passer also, they may not get downfield that far. So that's a huge deal, I mean. So let's see what happens. But the Bears, they got out of Detroit with a win, 27-23. Trubisky was the fantasy player, probably, pretty much, 242, 3 touchdowns. Adrian Peterson, new home, same Adrian, 90 yards, probably should have had 2 touchdowns. Had a great game, just looked like the Adrian of old. So if you have DeAndre Swift, and if you have Kerryon Johnson, well, guess what? It's going to be fun to hope your guy scores there.
Well, Swift did have a touchdown.
Swift did score.
He's the guy that dropped the pass.
And he should have 2.
And catch the ball, I guess.
I think it'll be him and Peterson. I think Kerryon Johnson is the odd man out at this point. That's my feeling for fantasy. Could be wrong, but by watching the game, Adrian Peterson got every chance to carry the ball for a second down. And the last game on the docket, the Raiders, the Vegas Raiders, going to Carolina with a big win.
You bet they did, buddy.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the coach said after the game, after this one, Eric? After Josh Jacobs, 93 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 catches, 46 yards. Josh Jacobs is, I'm going to have to pick him as my fantasy star today just because of 3 touchdowns from our back. And he was one of the first-round fantasy picks that panned out. Besides McCaffrey had a good game today. Also, he had 2 touchdowns, I believe, McCaffrey. I've been trying to see how many yards he had. 96, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches for 38. So, quarterbacks, I don't see numbers for quarterbacks. I apologize. But Bridgewater, what I saw, played well. Derek Carr, Henry Ruggs had a decent game as a rookie. He left the game at halftime, came back. I think he had 4 catches, 55 yards, so he contributed as a rookie. But fantasy right now, obviously, it was the Josh Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey show. That's what you would believe it would be anyway, you'd hope.
Right. Bridgewater was 270 with 1 touchdown.
There you go. What about Derek Carr?
Carr was 239 with 1 touchdown.
Okay.
So
serviceable games.
Yeah, and where did we have these teams? 7-9, 6-10 kind of teams anyway? I mean...
Yeah, well, Carolina, I don't think... I'd said 6-10, 5-11.
You probably have Arrow going down on Carolina, Arrow maybe going up on the Raiders.
The only reason I'm Arrow going down on Carolina is just because they've lost so many people. They really have no number 1 receiver. DJ Moore is the guy.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater, new to the team. Their defense is older. They lost Kuechly, retired. Lost Greg Olsen, obviously. So, big things. I think the Raiders are pointing up, but it's almost like it's staying across right now. It's not really going up, but they're staying at, and we'll see what happens. But, hey, big win on the road for the Raiders. Another team that went from west to east.
That's right.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, that's the football of the year. Right now, the Cowboys are playing against the Rams.
7-0. Well, last time I looked, it was 7-0.
I believe it popped to 7-7 now.
Oh, okay.
So the Cowboys tied it, yeah.
Right.
And then tomorrow night we have Pittsburgh visiting the Giants, and we have the I think Titans visiting Denver, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
10-7 Rams.
Okay, so so we'll see what happens in those games. So it's that time of show again for, well, you guys will know what it is when you hear the sounds.
I like beer cause it is good. I drink beer because I should. If there was a song to sing, I sing it and beer you bring. I drink beer when I am sad, cause the beer it makes me glad. Now there's nothing left to say, so let's go drink beer. Beer is good! Beer is good! Beer is good!
Well, they always say that opposites attract, right? I mean, look at Willie and I. I'm young and handsome, and well, I'll just stop there. So opposites attract, right? Like tart rhubarb and sweet strawberry, right? So New Glarus Brewing, who we love in Wisconsin here, they're classic, decided to throw together, and they do a lot of these wild ales, sours, wild ales, whatever you want to call them. So they have a rhubarb and strawberry that they throw into the fermentation, and you get this wild ale called strawberry rhubarb. It's a fantastic brew. It's very, very drinkable. It's a very popular beer. In fact, people that don't live in Wisconsin lose their minds over this beer, trying to capture it. So we're drinking it today like it's water, the four of us. So what do you guys think? Strawberry rhubarb, very refreshing, tasty, balanced, a lot of flavor, right?
It was very good. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Love it.
Big fan.
I just want to know who's tart and who's sweet in that relationship over there.
Yeah. That's our secret.
Well, I thought next thing was, you stuck your peanut butter in my chocolate. No, you stuck your chocolate in my peanut butter. Or you stuck your chub in my peanut butter.
That went way too far.
Yeah, way too far. You stuck my chocolate in my chub. What? No, wait.
Can I have that 30 seconds back?
Yeah, it's good beer.
Strawberry rhubarb, New Glarus Brewing. Cheers, gentlemen.
So let's segue into, one of our favorite parts of the show, because you get to hear my beautiful singing voice. And that is, Willie's, Where Are They Now? Willie.
Where are they now?
Willie.
Where are they now?
Willie.
Where are they now?
So in honor of the first week of the NFL, I thought I might as well do something from a player from the NFL.
About Coob. A Coob. Greatest Coob player ever.
You guys love the game. Well, this guy.
I did enjoy the game, Willie. I told these guys last week, I said I enjoyed the game.
I like the NFL better.
Okay. Sorry, Willie.
So anyway,
go back to your guy.
So be very cryptic about this. If I give you dates, you guys are going to nail this thing. So I'm just going to give you some stats here, and you guys can try to figure it out here. So he helped his college football team to an undefeated season in a trip to the Rose Bowl. He was the co-MVP of the Rose Bowl. He was a first-team All-American, and he finished second in the Heisman Trophy. He's a running back. I'll help you out there, okay? He was the first overall pick of the draft. If I give you the year, you're going to know it. He played for, I'm going to tell you the four teams here. I'm not going to tell you what order it was, but he played for the Packers, the Saints, the Redskins, and the Bengals. His career stats, this might be a dead giveaway. He had 319 rushing attempts. He had 1,144 yards, 20 rushing touchdowns. He had 66 receptions, 469 yards, and 1 touchdown receiving. He was often injured. So first year he had a torn ligament in a preseason game and missed the whole season. His next year he had a torn rotator cuff. Didn't miss the whole year. The next year, in 1 year, he broke his left wrist and missed the entire season. And then he dislocated his right kneecap and missed the entire season.
This guy sounds like a train wreck.
He was.
What was your start out? You didn't say where he played or anything?
I did say where he played.
Okay, go ahead.
Teams he played at. He was,
no, did you say the college where he played at?
If I tell you this.
Okay, that's fine. What did you say at the beginning? I'm sorry. I was kind of...
So the teams he played for was the Bengals, the Redskins, the Saints, and he really wasn't on the Packers. He was on their.
What was his college stat? You said not college stat, but you said something about Heisman and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
He was second in the Heisman. He was first team All American, co MVP of the Rose Bowl, and he helped his team to an undefeated season and
But you
trip
said
to
he
the
was
Rose Bowl.
first. You said he was the first pick.
And he was the first pick in the
Draft, but
In the
co-Heisman
draft.
and a co-MVP. No, second Heisman, co-MVP for the Rose Bowl.
right.
Because I had a guy in my mind, but then when you said first pick,
Okay, then.
and then
He
when
was
you
the
said
first pick.
when you said Packers too, that also threw me
What
off.
are the teams got? Packers, Bengals.
Packers, Bengals, Saints. Bengals, Redskins, Saints, and Packers.
The team,
Yes.
the football team,
The team.
the Washington
team.
football team.
Well, it was Redskins then back in the day.
What was the order they played in those teams? Give us the order if you know.
I'll give you the order.
Do it
you
that
played
way.
it.
Do it that way.
All right. Bengals.
So Bengals drafted number 1.
Yep. Redskins, Saints. Actually, the Packers. He was cut from that team, then played for the Saints, 2003 2004.
Wasn't
now which
Kajana
years?
Carter, was it?
Yeah, it was. It
John
was.
Carter was on the Packers.
Yeah, he was.
He was. He was cut from the practice squad.
Yeah.
John was the number 1 pick.
Yeah, he was.
Because I thought about him too, but I'm like,
1995.
The Bengals.
Yeah.
Well, the Bengals have. It wasn't really easy because the Bengals have so many number 1 picks.
True.
But it wasn't like a toss up. But yeah, he was hurt a lot.
Right.
Penn State, correct?
Penn State, yep. So, right, what was he doing now? He's the CEO of BioGlobe, a company that was in the janitorial and sanitation supply market. Then he had a client ask him if he could provide him with branded merchandise. He fulfilled that request, and before too long, he was the branded merchandise sales took over the sanitation thing. So he's down in Sunrise, Florida, and he actually had a degree in marketing. So he's the CEO of this company and doing well.
Good for him. Good for him.
So one of the biggest busts, in
Yeah, well, he was
Top
pretty
30
good bust. Yeah, he was in there. Yeah. That could be another day for another show. Biggest
Yeah,
bust.
should be,
We'll
sleeper-
do a snake draft.
Snake draft of it. Yeah.
Biggest bust. Biggest bust. So the poll question was
I'll
this
take
week.
Kate Upton.
So my poll question is pretty simple. I just asked the fans to tell us who was their number 1 pick in fantasy, and I got a few answers here. Zeke at 3 by Austin Berger. Ryan Stitch said Michael Thomas at 9. Hop said Hilaire. Not sure where he picked him. Glenn himself answered with Barkley at number 2. Tuster said McCaffrey went first in every draft he was available in, so I'm guessing he took him. Well, that's a weird, Tuster. If you say he went in first in every draft he was available, well, if he was first, he would be available in all the drafts. Oh, first round maybe, man.
First round,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yep.
And then Barkley by Sherry Krause. That's all I got, really. So, guys, who are your guys that you picked first in your draft? So, Glenn, you?
Saquon. Yeah.
Saquon, you said. Eric, I know you had a few leagues, but pick a couple that stick out to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in 5, but I had some 8 and 9 spots where I took Michael Thomas in a couple leagues. I took, Scott and I are in a crazy touchdown only league right now, so it's quarterback heavy, and I took Deshaun Watson. Yeah, and then I'm in an auction league, so there's no actual draft pick.
And how about you, Wilma?
Well, it was only one draft. It was this draft here, which was pretty.
Yeah.
At least the first part of my draft was okay.
You were pounding the wall. There it is.
I took Zeke.
So right now in our fantasy league, we have the Fire Breathing Kittens beating Eric Love's Spandex. Look like they're going to run away with that one, which is myself being beat. The Cardiff Giants looks like they're in a tight one with the Culver's Dumpster, but it looks like it's over because Cardiff Giants has 3 people left to play, so they'll win that one. A little bit of Rat Palmer got blown out by Ed's Shower Ninjas. Pretty much that game is over, it looks like. Spandex and Sandals has a lead as losing to D-Lo. D-Lo right now is our high scorer after picking 18 quarterbacks. He is actually a high scorer right now.
Who's D-Lo?
That's
he's got Lamar. That's my brother.
Yeah, yeah, Lamar, Mostart,
Julio
Julio Jones. Good day. Yeah. Lance Pants is down right now. He has 4 playing right now. He's down by 30, but the guy he's playing has 2 people playing now, 1 left, so it looks like Lance Pants might take the loss.
It's going to be tight.
And Earl's daddy looks like Gene Stair tore his index cards. Looks like that might be a win for Earl's daddy. We'll see, though. So that is what's going on right now in our fantasy league, the Benchwarmers League. What's your team name again, Glenn?
I'm the Spandex
Sandals. Yeah, you look like you're. D-Lo took you out, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, Bell went out and Parker went out.
Oh, there you go. Okay, you still put up 128 though, so it's pretty good.
Baltimore D.
So that's right now going on. So, quick question. Let's real quick. Let's ask that. So right now, after week one, I know it's week one. So we got to pick one guy in the first round that was maybe picked that right now, or maybe first 2 rounds that right now you're looking at. Ooh, he might have a tough one this year. Who you picking right now? I'm gonna take. I'll take the one I talked about already, so it's easy. I'll take Nick Chubb. I think they're my. Not Eric. Why do you giggle when I say Chubb every time? Nick Chubb had 69 yards today. No, I'm just kidding. He did not. 69.
I wish he did.
No, Nick Chubb. I don't know if he's in trouble, but with the Kareem Hunter, I think that might be a shared situation, and I think that might. It's weird because you look at it. Taking Nick Chubb where he took him, it might be a bad pick, but then taking Kareem Hunt in the 8th round is a great pick. Yeah. So it's just crazy. So that's what I'm going to say. I think right now, what it looks like, you never know. I'm going to throw that out there. So
yeah, Hunt's good on the outside, but Chump really. I can't even say no. You got
me
all
looked like a Chump today. That's for sure.
Chubb knows how to pound the hole.
That's what she said.
Fell on that one.
That's what she said.
Okay, a little late. Sorry.
Bell seems to be a big. I don't know why I even took him.
But where'd you take him?
I can't even remember.
Yeah, you're talking about like a first round.
No, it was probably first, early second. Le'Veon Bell went early in all my drafts, so I wouldn't be surprised. First, second round.
See, I'm in this crazy. I think that there's only 8 teams in it. I took Bell like in the 8th round.
Wow, yeah.
And so, I played him in a flex spot. It was like a last minute decision, so I don't feel that bad about Bell. But I mean, I'm not the one guy that disappointed me today that I took in first rounds was Michael Thomas. But I'm not.
That's a
I'm
big
not
one.
selling on Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine.
Okay.
Blankenship, the kicker for Atlanta. It was screwed up with that.
That was your first round take, young Oku like you're supposed to. He's the kicker. A couple of sleepers I'm thinking about out there right now. We talked about. I can't remember the one I named a minute ago. Who was the one I?
Parker.
Barber, Peyton Barber. Another one out there right now. I look for Jarrett McKinnon on the free agent wire. It looked like in San Fran that the order of running backs went from Mostert to McKinnon to Coleman, and McKinnon was a lot in the passing game, so along with Mostert. So I think McKinnon, and remember, that was Kyle Shanahan's shiny toy he got a couple years ago to hurt himself, so he's going to want to use that. They're still paying him $1,000,000, and they're going to use him, and he looked good today on the field. So I would honestly look for McKinnon on the waiver wire. Anybody else you guys can think of off the top of your heads you saw that might be a guy that might not have been drafted, obviously.
Well, I just this week in our league here, the Basement Benchwarmers League, because of Sanders going out, I just picked up Malcolm Brown off waivers. He's already got 14 points. He's got a touchdown for the Rams tonight. So
Akers is getting all the carries, I thought, right now.
Yeah.
Might be another sneaky guy, huh?
He's got, what did I see? I think he had like 37 yards and a touchdown. So, I don't know. It's early in it's first half. So, you never know.
Another guy would be possibly Alan Lazard. I know around here he's picked up a lot, but not around. Alan Lazard might be a guy to pick up.
Or Valdez Scantling, too. I think he even had a better game.
Yes.
And he dropped balls. It's like, God, that guy, and he was wide open all game. Dropping balls in the wide open space just drives.
Another guy who was targeted a lot today, and I'm not being funny, Jimmy Graham had a good game for the Bears today. He had a touchdown, should have had 2, and he was targeted a lot around the red zone. So they're using him in the red zone. So Jimmy Graham might be, if you need a bye week, I'm not saying pick him up and replace George Kittle with. I'm not saying that, but if bye week replacement, you never know. Anybody else I can see on here that I saw that caught my eye? Usual suspects. Calvin really isn't available nowhere. He had a great game. Those are guys that I would say. The Lions. The T.J. Hockenson wasn't drafted. I know he was drafted by somebody. He wasn't. He had a good game today. He was a target a lot today. And there was another tight end that I can't. The tight end was targeted a lot by Tom Brady today. O.J. Howard was. O.J. Howard got a decent amount of targets, and I think he's one that you should look at also. But I don't know if it's Bill Belichick. I think it's Tom Brady. They spread the ball around. I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin might suffer this year a little bit from that. And I think Evans might be the biggest person to suffer from all that. But once again, I'm going to go back to saying what Glenn said. It's week 1. Everybody take a breath. But waiver wire, I like O.J. Howard right now, too. I like O.J. Howard. He got a few passes on him, and we'll see, I guess. We'll see.
I got one more guy. Who was the guy we mentioned earlier that's killing me in 2 leagues? A backup tight end.
Goddard.
Yeah. Who's that? I never even heard of
Dallas
that.
Goedert. Dallas Goedert. He is the second with Ertz. and they use them both. I mean, it's kind of, think about it. They have no receiver. Jalen Reagor is their other receiver right now. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
He did play today. I'm not sure what his numbers were. Can you check his numbers for me, Glenn? Jalen Reagor, I think his name is. See if he had any targets or anything today, because he was supposed to start. And you got him right there?
No, it's just loading. It's loading. Yeah.
Okay.
It's loading.
I'm looking at a screen that says loading. So,
what's story in my life?
Jalen, he's a receiver for the Eagles. Yep. And so he's the only guy. They don't have much. So Goddard and Ertz. So Goddard might be a good pickup.
Yeah.
He had 100 yards today and a touchdown, correct? Or 100 yards for sure.
I don't know. He scored like 23, 24 points against me in 2 different leagues, so I'm not happy.
Reagor, 4 targets, 1 reception, 55 yards.
Okay.
So he had a big one.
And how about Goddard? What was his targets?
9.
What about Ertz?
8 reception. Ertz had 7 targets. Yeah.
Okay, so
they're
going
the main receivers. Then.
So Goddard might be one you want to go out there and grab as a tight end. You can play him at the flex. I play Kelsey at the flex right now. So those are a few guys we mentioned. So let's before we wrap the show up tonight, I got a couple of questions. But before we go to the questions, let's go to this week's comedian of the week. His name is Gary Owen.
Football, man. Last summer was rough, man. When the football lockout, I thought the football was going to end. You know, I was like, damn, there ain't no football. I know what I was going to do, man. Football is my favorite sport to watch on TV. I love it. I like high school, pro, college, man. I love it, man. You know. I wish. I remember when I was in high school. Though. I remember in high school, I remember I was playing football. I went to an all-white high school, though. We didn't have any black guys in my school district. And then I do remember my junior year of high school, we had one black guy move to our school district and sign up for football. Oh, we thought we was going to state. I ain't lying, man. That brother showed up. He's like, guys, look, there's a black in the team. It is fucking on this year. That guy fucking sucked, man. He was a foreign exchange student from France. I remember freshman year, I never played football before. My buddy's like, Gary, go for the team. I was like, all right. So I went up for the team. And the first game we ever played, we played an all-black high school. And they came to our school, you know. So we were also in the field doing our stretches. And the black high school pulled up. They didn't even stretch. They just got off the bus, stood on the 50, and started staring at us, you know? Then they started doing some kind of chant with their pads. It fucked us up. We didn't know what to do. They were just sitting there. I was like, Coach, they're not stretching. They stretch on the bus. Come on, guys, arm circles. Don't look at them, guys. Arm circles. Let's go big. Let's go backwards. They're not leaving. We're going to have to play. They're not leaving. I remember the first play of the whole game, we get the ball first, right? I'm the tight end. The linebacker on the black school, he started growling at us. We were lost. We didn't know what to do. First play of the whole game, here goes this brother. We get back to the huddle. He's like, Coach, they're growling at us. What do we do? They're growling. Our coach is like, growl back. Growl back, man. Swear to God, second down. Here he goes again. This dude on our team, rough. I go, what the fuck? Jebby said growl. Are you roughing? Are you serious? Like a tiger or a lion, dude. It's like a teacup Yorkie.
so that was Gary Owen. Pretty funny comedian. You can find him online, different clips. He's a pretty funny guy, actually. So I got a couple of questions for you guys for tonight. So the first one is, it's a list. You know, we do lists once in a while on the show. And our first list, we'll go around the table, a little competition, and you get them right, you stay in. If you're not, you're out. So the first list tonight we have is leading season reception holders for football. So single season reception holders. We will go with the top 10 only. So you got to be in the top 10. So Glenn, you get to go first. You're our guest. And then Eric, Willie. So who are you going to name?
This will probably be the only one I get right, but Thomas.
Michael Thomas. Last year, 149 catches.
So this is through history?
No. Yep.
Oh, Kelvin Johnson.
Kelvin Johnson, yes. He had 122.
So what was the question again?
Where is he now?
Leading season reception record holder, so single season, not career, so one season. So Michael
Just one season, okay, all right.
Michael Thomas had 149 in 1 year, and Calvin Johnson had 122 in 1 year.
Chris Carter?
Yes, he did it twice. He was in the list twice, so that knocks out 2 right there. And I'm sorry, Michael Thompson there twice. We're getting short here. My bad. Go ahead again, Glenn, with your next record holder.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss. No, he is not on here.
Wah, wah.
I believe at one time Sterling Sharp broke that record.
He is not on here.
He didn't break the record. He probably held that.
Well, held the record.
Season.
You're just saying
Yeah, he's not even on 115 is the last number, so he probably wasn't. He probably got bigger every year after him. Probably.
I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay.
Willie to win it.
Jerry Rice.
Yes, he's
one.
still on here.
See?
122. So our top 10.
I gotta win.
I can't believe we got Marvin Harrison. He actually held the record for a while.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown again, Herman Moore.
I thought about Herman Moore.
Yeah. Wes Welker, and that's Wes Welker twice in our top 10. Honorable mentions outside Isaac Bruce, Brandon Marshall, Torrey Holt in there. Zach Ertz is in there, 116. McCaffrey, 116.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So that's why he's a fantasy monster. Because it was 116 catch for running back. That's pretty cool.
For a 6-10 team.
Yeah. So that's that one. Willie got his first W. I like it. So we're going to move to a baseball list. Let's name top 10. So 3 or more, we're going to say. 3 or more only. Got to have 3 or more World Series titles. Teams that have 3 or more World Series titles have to have 3 or more. So go ahead. Glenn, you get to start first.
Yankees.
That's,
Giants.
Yes, New York, San Francisco Giants. They have an 8 total.
Cardinals.
Cardinals have 11. They're second.
Red Sox.
Red Sox have 9.
So 3 or more. Chicago Cubs.
Cubs have 3.
Yep.
I'm going with the Detroit Tigers.
The Tigers have 4. You guys are doing good.
White Sox.
White Sox have 3.
Cincinnati Reds.
Oops, the Reds have 5. The Big Red Machine with the Nasty Boys. Rob Dibble, Norm Charlton.
That was where I was going with right there. Let's see here. Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Pirates have 5 also.
I'm going to throw up this Hail Mary here. Toronto Blue Jays / Washington Nationals.
Well, that would be Expo.
Expos.
Yeah, sorry.
The Blue Jays only have 2. And the Nationals have 1. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep, just 2. Yep, no, you're right, though. So, and the Expos never won before. Yeah.
I screwed that up.
Yep, no problem.
Did we say Dodgers yet?
The LA Brooklyn Dodgers have 6. Willie, there's only 3 left.
How many wins again?
3 or more.
3 or more. The Phillies.
And Phillies have 2. So to win a hug on your chub.
Ooh. Well, now that you said that.
Dead air.
5,
Great horse name.
4.
You can play
3,
the Jeffries song.
2, 1. And
yeah, I have no idea.
Just name a team. Anybody.
Minnesota Twins.
Yep, that's it. 3 of them.
Oh, you can edit all that out. That's great.
I
I
was
was
on
on
it.
it. Just do it right away.
Minnesota, Washington Senators.
Yeah.
Baltimore Orioles.
Yep. And to finish it off, the Atlanta, Boston, Milwaukee Braves.
Oh, wow.
So that was the group there. We talked about it earlier, and we haven't talked about it since. The Big Ten voted today to return to fall sports. So looks like October 17th is the date for that. I don't know what the fan thing is or anything like that, but yeah, they're coming back, it looks like.
Just football, right?
It sounds like fall sports. There was a total vote. So that's what the original vote was, for fall sports. But football for sure is the thing they're talking about in this article. But we have to check in the fall sports thing. So, yeah, they're coming back.
I was wondering.
They said they re-voted, and they're coming back. So Big Ten football will be back on the air in a few weeks. And
why do you think they voted this way? Because they watched all the football going on.
Yeah, look,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, other conferences were playing.
They turned on the Clemson Wake Forest game and they're like, wow, this looks great. Yeah. We should do this.
Hey, they're doing it. Why can't we do it?
I didn't see a single person with COVID on the field.
You know, the ACC and ESPN were like, no, you guys don't have to do it. We like all these TV ratings. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Although the Big Ten is ESPN also. So, but anybody that's on CBS or anything are probably like, yeah, you don't got to come back. Don't worry, we'll take all the ratings. So, yeah, because I was watching some this weekend. I didn't watch full games, but sat down and watched it.
I sure did. Yeah, absolutely.
So, coming back. Any thoughts on that, guys? Just happy to see it come back, I'm guessing.
Good.
Yeah, football back. So,
well, related to that, high school football in Kenosha is going to happen.
Yep.
The only teams in the division that's not going to play are the Racine teams. So it's essentially they're going to play 4 games each. So we got so Indian Trail's got to play Tremper, Bradford, Franklin, and Oak Creek, and then they got a playoff series and a championship.
Good.
So last week's picks, the Benchwarmers picks, we had Glenn Willie. Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, and upset Panthers. 3 out of 4. You got your locks were good.
Yo, Glenn.
Your upset didn't happen because we're not doing. We decided to start doing our spreads this week, so we're going with it straight up this last week. Ed had the Bills. Colts did not win. Steelers are to play tomorrow. And the upset with the Bears, he got correct. So that's a double 2-point bonus.
Wow.
Compared to the one. And then the Ravens, Saints, Chiefs, Falcons were Eric's.
Mm-hmm.
So he got his locks right, but the Falcons did not happen.
Yeah.
I had the Eagles, 49ers, Eagles, Steelers, and my upset was the Dolphins. Rough week for Scott.
Hey,
rough week.
Weren't the Bears favored in that game?
No, they were 3.5-point underdogs.
I thought Detroit was -3. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Yeah, we looked because I was confused too. I'm like, no, and then they're I was there. So this week's picks, everybody, we're going to move into that. So this week we're moving the spread. So if you want to know gambling tips, I guess don't listen to me because I was totally wrong on mine. So, but let's start with Glenn. Well, Glenn, who you got this week? And you were picking for Ed this week. So who do you got? Who are your picks?
I got the Bills covering the 3.5 spread on the Dolphins.
So Bills -3.5.
Yep. Niners covering the 5.5 over the Jets.
Niners -5.5.
And the Cardinals covering the 6.5 over the football team.
-6.5. Yes. And who is your upset?
Hop will like this. I'm picking Minnesota to beat the Colts. It's a 3-point.
And they're getting 3? Straight up 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So Minnesota getting 3. Eric, what do you like this week?
So are we picking 2 locks and 1 upset?
Here's what we're deciding. You can pick as many upsets as you want, but remember, the more upsets you pick,
more points.
You get more points that way. But we want you to pick at least 1 upset. You got to pick 1 upset, and you can pick 3 locks.
Oh,
3.
okay.
So all your picks are actually.
Are we picking 3 games or 4 games?
Actually, all your picks should be locks. Because but you need to pick 1 upset in that group.
So I just have 3 games that I'm picking.
4. You want to pick 4.
Oh,
yep. So go ahead. Who are you?
Well, now I got to find a 4th here.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start here. I got Bucks over.
No, you find your 4th. Willie, go ahead. You got yours.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go by what I say here because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I'm taking Kansas City over the Chargers.
So KC is laying what there? KC is laying
6.5.
6.5. Okay.
6.5. Okay. New Orleans over Vegas 4.5.
Okay.
Baltimore over Houston 5.
And who's your upset?
My upset's Detroit and Green Bay.
Detroit getting what?
6.
Detroit getting 6. Okay. And then Eric, you ready now, buddy?
Well, okay. So my locks are the Saints over Vegas.
So New Orleans -4.5.
Yep.
Okay.
Buccaneers are going to bounce back and they're going to crush the Panthers, so they're going to cover that.
What is their spread?
I don't know. You tell me. You got the sheet in your hand.
-8.5. Ooh, big number. Okay.
They're going to crush them.
Okay.
Willie, you're crazy. The Packers are going to destroy the Lions.
So getting 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then my upset because they didn't help me out this week. I'm going to stick with them again. I'm going to take the Falcons over the boys. I know that's the Cowboys are a 7-point favorite.
So +7 Falcons.
Yes.
Okay. My picks this week, I'm going to go with the Vikings as my upset, getting 3 along with Glenn. I like that. And then I'm going to go with the Jaguars getting 11 from the Titans.
Wow.
I like Jacksonville getting those 11 points. So that's actually, I guess I'm taking 2 upsets because I need to get back in the game here. I'm down quick. And then the Saints, I'm taking minus the 4.5. And my final pick is the Seahawks at home, -3.5 versus the Patriots. I like those. So right now we'll have a standing setup and everything, and we'll get those going, and then we will see how the year goes for everybody. Glenn is our kind of our guest picker, so he took Willie's last week and did well for Willie. He's got 3 out of 4.
Absolutely, thanks.
Nice. Should have done my picks for me.
Hey, Scott, by the way, I do owe you a shot of Malort.
Oh, yes, we bet a shot of Malort. Willie's a Lions fan. I'm a Bears fan, and he asked me, and I said, okay. So
it looked good for a while.
They're up 23-6. He goes, want to bet a shot of Malort? I go, I guess. No, he didn't. He was earlier. I'm just kidding. Because I had faith in the Bears.
Willie makes out on that deal.
Yeah, because Malort's so tasty.
So good.
So I think that's it for this week's show. Good show, guys. NFL kicked off. It was nice to see something on TV that we could all, and I agree with Glenn, let's just, I can watch the games, and that's awesome. That's a good time, like Eric and Glenn said earlier. It was nice to see again. And any closing thoughts from you guys? Glenn, you are the guest, so give us a closing thought for the week.
Seeing football on TV, I think it just kind of brings back a little bit of normalcy. Granted, no fans in the stands, but when you're watching from home, you don't feel that. But it is nice to have a Sunday where you sit down and you have your entertainment again.
Yeah, it's definitely refreshing to have some football. I mean, it just, especially now that the Bucs lost. I mean, it's an exciting. Today was an exciting day. It's exciting trying to watch all those games and keep up on all your fantasy stats and everything. It gets your mind off all the crap that's going on in the world. So,
well, I tell you guys, it's like Groundhog Day for me. Watching Lions lose in the fourth quarter again. So typical. It's how they roll.
My closing thought is, I don't know. It's a good show, guys. Thanks for doing it. I'm happy the Bears snuck out with a win today. The Cubs had no hitter. That's kind of a nice little daily double for the city of Chicago. So for Glenn, for Eric, for Willie, and for Ed, who is not here this evening, we are the Basement Benchwarmers. Check us out on Facebook at Basement Benchwarmers, also on Instagram at Basement Benchwarmers, also on Twitter at Base Benchwarmer, and our email is basementbenchwarmers@gmail.com. So, guys, thanks a lot once again. Everybody out there, have a good week. Stay healthy, wash your hands, and get the kids back off to school.
Step out the front door like a ghost into a fog where no one notices the contrast of white on white. And in between the moon and you, angels get a better view of the crumbling difference between wrong and right. Well, I walk in the air between the rain, through myself and back again, where I don't know. Maria says she's dying. Through the door I hear her crying. Why? I don't know. Around here we always stand up straight. Around here something radiates. Maria came from Nashville with a suitcase in her hand. She says she'd like to meet a boy who looks like Elvis. And she walks along the edge of where the ocean meets the land, just like she's walking on a wire in a circus. She parks her car outside of my house and takes her clothes off. Says she's close to understanding Jesus, and she knows she's more than just a little misunderstood. She has trouble acting normal when she's nervous. Around here we're carving out our names. Around here we all look the same. Around here we talk just like liars, but we sacrifice like lambs. Around here she's slipping through my hands. Sleeping children better run like the wind out of the lightning dream. Mama's little baby better get herself in out of the lightning. She says it's only in my head. She says, I know it's only in my head. But the girl on the car in the parking lot says, man, you should try to take a shot. Can't you see my walls are crumbling? And she looks up at the building, says she's thinking of jumping. She says she's tired of life. She must be tired of something around here. She's always on my mind. Around here, hey man, I got lots of time. Around here Ran